So Jagex is changing RuneScape's combat forever. And at the moment, we can experience some of it in form of the ranging beta on the beta servers. So basically, we have access to beta servers where we can try out changes to the ranging combat style. And there are a lot of videos about this topic online. I mean, I saw some insane videos from Ryan, for example, who sums everything up pretty detailed, or from Cyrus, who has some really interesting takes on this whole matter in terms of a high-level PVM player who used range before and stuff. But I think this is actually why I want to make this video here. Because all the videos and all the discussions that I saw online are basically from high-level PVMers who used ranged before and are fairly experienced with the combat style. For me personally, I have no fucking clue about RuneScape 3's ranged combat style. Just to make things clear, the last time I really used ranged was before Necromancy came out, and what you see right here is basically my ranged setup that I have in the game. So I have some Serenic armor, Ascension grips, and fleeting boots. I have a Eldritch crossbow because back in the days, the Becriminal bolts were the meta, I think. That's why I used them. And since then, I have never touched range again. So for me, this is actually really interesting because I am now able to experience this whole beta from the perspective of someone who is basically a noob, who has no clue about the combat style, just has some PVMing experience with Necromancy and tries to use range now instead of Necromancy. And oh boy, I'm really thrilled to try the combat style out at some bosses. So I wanted to make this video just to show you guys the perspective of a not high-level PVM player who has a lot of experience in the combat style at all. So, as always, if you find this video helpful or interesting, please don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And now let's head right into it. So the first thing I did was take my range gear that I already showed you and then take my ass to Raksha. Because Raksha is a boss that I remember that I wanted to do back when I still ranged, but never did. And then the first time I killed her was with Necromancy. So I have never done a ranged kill simply because after I used Necromancy, I tried it once, I failed, and then decided just to stick with Necromancy because I am bad at range and it's a hard combat style. And yeah, this is how it went for me. And I completely forgot my adrenaline potions, I need to admit that. This is actually really bad, I think. But I can clearly see that the damage is insane. It's really insane in comparison, for me at least. I actually have never killed Raksha with ranged ever, because it was just simply too hard for me. You know, I had a really rough time against Raksha all the time when I tried to range her. So I started doing her with Necromancy, and I have never done her with range, and it feels really strong, to be honest. Okay, and now I have a problem because I have to deal with the pools, right? And I have no clue how I should do that because, oh, we can obviously use Corruption Shot, I think, and Bombardment should be buffed, right? Okay, that was I guess okay. But yeah, Ricochet is not here, so still a rough time, I guess. But I guess we got a little bit rid of them. Oh, I used the wrong ability. That was stupid. Oh, and I signed. Okay, now it's falling apart a bit, I feel like, because the pools are a problem, right? The pools are the big problem. Now I have to dodge. Okay, so I ran through a lot of adrenaline, obviously, which is really bad. But I guess that's just normal. I'm still here, trying to get that kill done. Okay, so yeah, obviously the enrage is pretty high now for the last phase, because I had no plated dive and stuff, which is obviously really bad. I think I don't have to tell you that. We can use Snapshot to phase her, that's perfect. Okay. 60% enrage. Maybe I need to get plated dive somehow. I guess this is the strat that you use for getting rid of the pools with other combat styles than Necromancy. Necromancy obviously have Threats of Fate, which is really convenient. And I also need Adren potions. And I think this one is just a buff ability that you want to have all the time. So let me just, oh my god, that was some big damage here. But the damage with how is it called? This piercing shot, I think. No, the double hit. That feels really good. Okay, now I can run around here and then go back there, dodge the hit, use the special ability. This is just so, it feels so strong, man. Why do I change the luck ring? As if the loot would be anything, any worth, since we're on the beta. Okay, I got the kill done, which is kind of insane with that scuffed setup. Yeah, but that's crazy. Until the pools, the kill was really free. Holy shit. So that we have a little reference, I decided to go into the main game and do a Raksha kill there. I, yeah, just tried to do the same setup, the same gear. I had adrenaline potions in the main game, so the gear was a little bit better. And as you can see, I struggled with the boss a lot because I simply deal way less damage than I did in the beta because it is just less accessible, the skill. So just as an example, I needed like 30 seconds longer to get to the 400k health where all these pool shenanigans started. And yeah, I also did not really have an answer for that in the main game, but still it took me about 30 seconds longer. And then just to get from the pools to the last phase, it was about a minute longer that it took for me just to get into the last phase. And in the last phase I also struggled way more just because I had way less damage. And I guess this is exactly where this update should be headed and what the plan of Jagex is, so that they can actually just make the combat styles accessible, so a new player or a newbie player just like me who has never ranged before or never used ranged can just play the game and decide whatever he wants to use, it is accessible. And I just have this reference of some buddies of mine who started playing RuneScape about 3 months ago or something. I think it's rather 4 or 5 months now, but still it's not a long time ago where they started, and both of them started out with melee just like most people do, I think, and they had just such a hard time and such a bad time with PVMing in general in the game, with fighting. And then I told both of them, buddies, just use Necromancy, it's so much easier, and then the fun really started. And I think this is definitely an update in the right direction if we look at it in this way. So Raksha is dead, but I decided that I wanted some extra challenge and that I want a boss instance where I feel kind of secure on how I have to deal with it, but is also definitely a high level boss. So I decided to go into the beta and take this new ranging style to the Sanctum of Rebirth, which is basically a boss encounter that I have only done with Necromancy and in the League's game mode with melee, but obviously melee was way OP'er there than it is in the main game and stuff. So this was definitely a very interesting test for me. I decided that I will commentate this right here, and for the Nakatra fight I will give you the normal speed kill and my live commentary so you can hear my assumptions that I did in the fight. But what it definitely felt like is at the first boss it was definitely really usable. I mean, you can see it, I did not even use any food so far, and yeah, I was feeling pretty confident because the fight was pretty easy. It's not a hard boss fight obviously, and my DPS is definitely good. At Kazalem I actually struggled a bit. I think I needed 3 tries. I died 2 times unfortunately. The first time the boss only had like 50k health left, and then I just failed with one of these ice prisons and stuff. And I definitely noticed that I deal less damage than I, for example, did with melee in the League's game mode or with Necromancy. At Kazalem especially, because I struggled a bit with yeah, some of its mechanics, and especially with the scarabs I struggled a lot because if I am not completely wrong, and maybe I am wrong, I only had 1 stun, so I could only deal with 1 scarab at the time. And then I always had to, yeah, basically tank the other one at Kazalem. And later at Nakatra, I think I only just killed the damaging one and just let the other one heal her. So this was definitely a bit annoying. And I also, yeah, struggled a bit with damage on the pillars. I think it is definitely, with that setup that I have, definitely possible to one-shot a pillar and basically one-cycle all this stuff. But I struggled because I'm still not a ranger. I think I've said this too many times now. But overall, it really felt good. I mean, it was really on a point where I say that I, for example, with tier 90 gear at the Sanctum of Rebirth with Necromancy that we did on my Bronzeman account a few months ago, that I thought it's harder than with range now. So I think the damage is really, really good. And this, again, with someone who has a insane scuffed setup and an insane scuffed buff bar. I mean, you see the abilities that I use. I use Revolution most of the time for my basic abilities, and I have basically no clue what is good and what is bad. I just hopped in and did it, and I think this is so great if range goes into this direction where you can just pick it up as a noob and just use it, and it works somehow. It was just, I had so much fun. I'm gonna be honest, it was a new experience, never done these bosses with range, and it was just really, 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 really a fun time. I know that a lot of high-level people are upset at the moment, but for me, this was such a good time. And now, into the live commentary. I could also use a Blood Reaver instead of the Calgarian Demon, technically. Maybe this would make things a bit easier for me. But then we obviously deal way lower damage and stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. I just know that we start attacking her. Oh, and we need some adrenaline, so we don't die immediately at the first obliterate attack, basically. This would be really sad. And I mean, I really need to... I guess I really need to accept that she will heal out of the healing scarabs, because I don't have anything to deal with them. Because I guess the damaging ones are way more important to deal with. Oh my god, almost died here. Kinda crazy, I guess. Yeah, this is something that I noticed right away, that I deal way less damage than less damage, I say, that I have way less healing than with Necromancy, obviously. I guess this is basically the biggest pain point. Oh my god, I'm dead, right? Oh no, perfectly adjusted to my fail that I did not have enough adrenaline to use devotion there. So I guess this was good. Oh no, yes, okay, perfect. I need to be at higher adrenaline just to have the devotions ready and stuff. I think the next attack will be the scarabs, right? Yeah. So I just again kill the damaging one. And I guess we go into this ability. And now I just need to stay at a bit higher adrenaline, because I guess she will obliterate me soon again. Right, yes. Perfect. Can use some adrenaline here. Feels way smoother than before, to be fair. But obviously I have really low damage here. Maybe I should use some soul split in between sometime. And we go to the dogs, right? Yeah. So we are basically at the spot where gets decided if the kill is any good or not. Oh no. I don't really have the damage to kill the dogs, no. That is really bad. Maybe with that shot. Not really. Oh my god, why are they so fucking tanky? So one needs to be down now, right? Yes, that is perfect. So we can go to the other one. But that was way too much tankiness of this dog. I guess this one will heal once also. So she will be at really high enrage for the last phase then. Oh my god, that is so bad. That is so bad. Maybe it will heal again. Oh no. Oh no, oh my god. I just deal so less damage than with Necromancy. But I don't think it's It's anything else than just the scuffed gear, you know? Just gotta find a way to get through all this now. I guess we got some time here with squiggly lines and the smile there. I mean, I could switch up the arrows, the bolts. Oh my god, this was... I don't have a lot of time here. Squiggly lines and smile, so we are here. Oh my god, no, I used the wrong ability. I wanted to use a dead swiftness here so I could basically fire everything. But I just fucked up. But I guess this is what we're doing here. Because there's nothing else we can do than just try to damage her. But she is still really tanky, really healthy. But I guess if we use dead swiftness there, this isn't that big of an issue. Now I can just use the dogs to save up some adrenaline. Squiggly lines and the rising sun is our target. So we go to the scarab. This is what I wanted to do, so I can build up some adrenaline and then be in a dead swiftness for this time here. Obviously I am not allowed to use too much adrenaline now, because otherwise I don't have enough to then further block the attack here. But after we use devotion, we can now basically fire everything in the dead swiftness, which is kind of nice. Oh, that is a 20k damage. Oh, and it's perfect here. Oh, another crit. Now we need to get out. Try to get back into the dead swiftness here. Oh, okay, that was way better with dead swiftness. Can we use another snapshot? Ah, no, the damage got blocked. Okay, and then we just fire everything, and the boss is dead. Wow, that is actually that is a ranged Necro kill. Wow. Okay, I did not think that I would be able to do this, but I did it. In the main game, no chance. I'm gonna be honest. With that scuffed gear here, in the main game, I don't think that I would stand any chance against Necro. I mean, I could try it, maybe, but I don't think so, man. I really don't think that I would stand any chance on getting her down there. Okay, I guess we need to find a way to sum things up for this video. So I'm here at the new boss and just killing him a bit with some best in slot gear. I don't know why, but yeah, had some fun with it. Just increased my PB by about 10 seconds to the live game with Necromancy and stuff. But yeah, my PB was really bad. I did not really kill the boss in the live game that much. Lol. But yeah, whatever. To sum things up for this video, I think that a lot of people are upset with this update and the beta tests and stuff. And I kinda completely understand this, to be honest. Because for a lot of people who used to be high level rangers and stuff and use the combat style a lot, as far as I understand it, that some of the changes are basically just nerfs to the end game. And that some people are kinda upset to this is something that I can understand really good. I mean, we are playing an MMO, and I guess the goal of all of us is to get, yeah, further ahead and stronger gear and even better setups and stuff and be stronger and faster and whatever. This is basically the whole purpose of RuneScape, I feel sometimes. But I think Jagex needs to find a way to please these players. I don't know how to do it. I'm definitely not smart enough to give you that answer. But I think the changes are great, because I basically, in a live game, used to be a ranger before Necromancy came out, you know? And there I just killed a lot of these mid-level bosses and just scratched a bit on the surface to be able to high-level bossing and stuff. But I was basically just too bad for high-level bossing. I have to admit it. And I was also really, yeah, I don't know, I had no interest in going further than my mid-level bossing, just because it felt so fucking annoying if I thought about, hey, you now have to basically learn all that stuff about ranging and all these essence of finalities and billions and billions and billions of gear just to be able to do, yeah, the damage that you need to really have a fun time at bossing and stuff. And it was just scaring me, you know? I never really tried it out. Maybe it is not like this, but it's just the fact that when you watch the guide, for example, and there was a guy who just showed you his inventory and he has like 7 Essence of Finalities ready to switch up with the right special attacks. It was just something that for a casual player, somebody like me who never really played the game too much back then, this was just something where I just thought, okay, I guess I have my ceiling here. I have fun with my mid-level bosses, but I will never go further and stuff. And this is kind of sad because when the Necromancy came out, this whole approach to the game basically changes, because now suddenly all the high-level bosses, like, I don't know, solo ambient stuff, was just basically accessible. And I was able to basically have runs in the Elite Dungeons and all that stuff where I soloed everything and felt good about it, you know? So suddenly, when Necromancy came out, I was basically able to do all that fun stuff that all the other players also do, and I learned how much more fun the game became for me, and how much more fun the game is. And when I look at range now, where I just basically, without having any clue about the combat style, and I know I said this like 1,000 times now, but I need to say it so much more often. I have really no fucking clue about this combat style. And I was still able to go into high-level bossing encounters, just like hard mode Sanctum of Rebirth. And even though it was harder than when I used Necromancy, I was able to get the kills done, you know? I was able to basically just get a run done and get a kill in and stuff. Sure, I had to try a bit and whatever, but I was able to do it. And this is basically what RuneScape should feel like. You should be able, as a player who maybe does not spend too much time in this game, in this world, because he maybe has a job or he maybe plays other games and stuff, you should still be able to get to that point where you can basically do everything in the game. You should not be locked out of content just because you don't spend enough time in the game, you know? I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say here, but I think having a combat style that gets accessible, just like Necromancy in range, it feels so good. And I can't wait for Jagex to also make melee accessible or mage more accessible and stuff, because it feels so great using a different combat style and experience some fights different than before and not just use Necromancy all the time, you know? So for me as a casual player, it feels really great, this update, and I am looking forward to it, and I hope that it hits the live server soon, even though I know some people will be upset about this TLDR or whatever, but yeah, I really think it's an insane change, and I love it. I mean, I don't want to leave the beta at the moment. I'm farming a boss, even though this will benefit me nothing, you know? It's it has no use for me to farm this boss. It has 0 use for me. As soon as I hit the live server, all the stuff that I farm here is gone. But I am just enjoying so much using this combat style at the moment. I don't know. It feels great. It really does.